Hello everybody, welcome to another video. Today's one is probably one of my favorite videos that I film in a whole year. And I know I have said that before, and I just watched my video from the last year, and I genuinely do mean it, because autumn trends, autumn in general, or fall as you wish, is the part of the year that I'm the most excited about the fashion. Well, in general, I'm most excited. I love fall for the trends and clothing and layers, but I also love it for the cozy time, like cute evenings. Everything gets a bit like yellow and orange, the sunset, it just gets like cozy, the warm drinks, a little bit chillier, so we're not like dying of heat like we are currently here in Europe. So everything about this time of the year is just so charming and so beautiful, and when the outfits hit well, it's just like a full 360. Now, it's the first time I'm filming in this environment, so I hope you guys are gonna like it. Let me know what you think about it. Could this be my little like sit down setup? I think it could maybe even work. Let me know what you think. That being said, I'm already like in autumnal colors, even though it is, like I just said, very hot, but I wanted to set the right tone for this video, which is the autumn trends for 2026. Now, for some of you that are new to this channel, I am Tamara, and I basically attend New York, London, Milan, Paris fashion weeks throughout the year several times. I go to the runways of like some of the kind of like most renowned fashion brands, and I noted down the trends so that I can report back to you. I can tell you what was like the most prominent trend on the runways, what kind of reappeared a lot, and here I am to present it for you guys. Again, if you are new, click the subscribe button so that you can come back and see what I actually already shopped for the autumn. I already got some new bits and I cannot wait to show them to you. I think it's going to be in the next or the one after that video. I'm just like currently making all the scheduling, but I'm very excited because some of the pieces are really great. So without further ado, let's get into those trends. What you will notice on the screen if you're watching on TV, I will be inserting some QR codes in these corners. Now, again, if you're watching on TV, you can scan it with your phone and it will bring you to some of the selections of that trend in question. So for example, if we're talking about whichever trend, you can scan the high street or the high-end version of that trend. So if you want to shop like on a budget, or if you want to get like kind of like an investment piece, you just need to scan the QR code and it will bring you to like my selection. I've done all the work for you guys. I've literally researched the internet. I found so many great items, again, on a budget or kind of like buy it once in a lifetime type of thing, and it's all in there for you. In case you're watching on your phone and you cannot scan it, then all the links will be in the description box. You can just like go and search and have everything in one place. So it took me days and a lot of research after obviously attending the fashion weeks to kind of get everything in one place, but I think I finally succeeded. So let's start. If I'm ever looking down, it's because I have my notes that I've written on here, and I just don't want to forget something. There are going to be a lot of trends. I did like shortened version of this, kind of like for the trends that I will like, and I will mention those as we go, but let's get straight into it. So the first trend is the trend that does not require you to spend any money on it. It's the cheapest trend. It's about everything that you have already in your closet. And I actually always say this, and I'm gonna repeat it again, the trends are just a little bit of fun. We talk about trends because trends are so generally present and they affect everything. They affect television, so like the whole like art of cinema, the art, they affect like modern affairs. Like trends are kind of like something, a reflection of also like political situation. It's like such a deep, interesting story about trends. So I always like to film this video, but I also say only take the ones that you like. Don't look at the ones you don't like. Don't feel pressured to follow any trends. And that's the best way to go about it. Because actually back in like the 60s, 70s, 80s, even 90s and early 2000s, I remember the trends were like, if you don't wear low-rise jeans and you wear high-rise jeans, like it was a mega no. Like you could not wear something that was not on trend because it was a big no. Now fashion's changed so much since then. I think like effect of like everything that's happening in the world has affected fashion significantly as well. And now it means that if you don't follow a trend and you wear something else, it's absolutely fine. It's not like what you're wearing is completely atrocious. And there's no such things. Like back in 2000s, if you didn't have thin brows, everybody was like, what are you doing? Now you can have thick, you can have thin, you can have whatever you want. And in that sense, fashion has become a lot more forgiving. So take that into consideration before you judge anything from here. So like I mentioned, the first trend is the cheapest trend of all because it does not involve any shopping, acquisition, or anything like that. We're talking about mega layering and styling the pieces. So it's all about styling this fall. And there was a very interesting fashion show during Milan Fashion Week. It was Prada. Prada only used 15 different models, which is like really, really little because sometimes like runway shows have like 80 different looks, you know, it can be like a lot of looks. With 15 models, you definitely cannot do that. But Prada did because they sent the models in these like very heavily styled looks, and as the models kept coming, the looks became lighter, so they were like taking off pieces. So the first look involved like basically like 3 times more layers than the last one, and the models just kept coming out and coming out and coming out, and eventually you could see like several different looks from the same model. And the message was that it's just like one look but styled many different ways. Runways were filled with like styling, over styling. I loved the Kate jackets and then like boots, like the dresses tucked into the boots. This was like already done kind of by Ximena and Chloe a while ago, but it was heavily present also at Celine this season. Styling was everything and everywhere. Think about, again, Loewe, Ferragamo, the Row. I have to say that for the Row, styling has always been a forte. And when you see like classic pieces from the Row and you think like, why would I get that? It's just like so basic. For the Row, it's always all about the styling. And this is the season to really show your styling potential. It's not anymore like minimal white t-shirt, jeans, done. Now it's like a little bit more is more. And I think that already started last autumn when we saw a lot of like those kind of like sweaters over the shoulders, around the waist, scarves over the coats, and just like in general more is more. But now it's going to be like so heavily present that if you're good at styling, you don't even need a single new piece in. You can show what you can do with jewelry, with scarves, with accessories, with hats, with gloves. Just like show us your best styling. And when I say that, I also mean like tank tops over like long sleeve shirts, or again like scarves over like tied around the knit, scarves over the trousers, kind of almost looking like a skirt, peeking a little bit, things in like, you know, like here and there, like a little shirt tuck in, everything and anything you can think of, like several belts, turtlenecks below shirts. It's all about putting it on in the right way. This, I think, is my favorite trend of the whole fall winter season because it shows personality, it shows character, it shows uniqueness, and it's not like you can just go to shop and buy like exactly the same look as everybody else, but you can show how good you are at styling from exactly this kind of aspect. So, yay. I think like if you are not sure how to do it and your wardrobe is full of like great basics and key pieces, what you can get are good scarves, good hats, good gloves, sunglasses, like kind of like a lacy skirts that you can layer under coats or under longer or under shorter dresses, so you can have like lace trim peeking, or just like different basics that will be really, really useful for layering. Funnily enough, somehow the trends go almost in my perfect preference, and I would say the second one is Art Deco slash richness in textures and materials, and just in general, fringes, tassels, richness in materials. Did I say that already? Well, Art Deco is the next trend that I'm gonna cover. I think no one really did better Art Deco than Chanel. I mean, Kate was also right there because I really loved seeing this trend on runways, and it dominated in a way that I never even thought I would like it. Honestly, Kalinic, I don't know if you guys know that brand, but they did an incredible job with like textures and richness. We're talking about fringes or tassels, as you wish, on scarves, on shawls, on coats, on bags, on belts, on dresses. Phoebe Philo did like skirts and dresses with tassels, the tops. There's just so much Art Deco in everything. Like I'm also thinking about the cloud top from Phoebe Philo that like literally completely broke the internet. I think that was like such a great piece. There is so much Art Deco, and you can also express it in a more like I would say affordable way if you just invest in like tassel scarf or really gorgeous pair of earrings, a necklace. I have like few brands that I really love that I will list in my high street picks, but then also you can absolutely invest in like the row coat with a fringe, or a skirt, or wool and cashmere mix. skirt with a fringe, again, knitwear, so much good stuff. Again, supple and rich textures, they're everywhere. I will put a lot of like Kate pics as well for this, because those Kate jackets with gorgeous detailing, some of them were even sheer. It was just incredible, incredible. Since I've started in my personal preference order, I will go for the trend number 3, which I really, really love, but then it will kind of mix up and then the preference disappears, okay? So I would say that animal print, and I never thought I would say this. Animal print, my favorite. What do you mean? Just because animal print developed into something really, really interesting. It's not like aggressive. It's not how it used to be back in 2000s. It's a little bit more demure. I think that word is like no more, but it is really like more soft. It's more sophisticated and it just adds a little bit more character. I also think it really helps that the tones in which the animal print has been portrayed in runway collections are very, very muted and toned down, so that the animal prints are actually coming to be in a way neutrals. Well, maybe not if we speak about Chanel, because in Métiers collection, those skirts in animal prints, I still sometimes have dreams about them. But in general, Métiers collection was filled with like a very neutral zebra and leopard print. Yes, leopard it is. And I really loved those two. I'm still contemplating getting one of the Chanel bags. I'll insert a picture because I might really need it for autumn. Now, if you guys know, you know that I got like a zebra jacket. I got the little baby cat classic flap. I got like quite a bit of print and I really love it. My all-time favorite shoes are the Kate zebra flats. They will all be linked on my QR code here or in the description box, because I think those are the pieces that really like take your wardrobe to the next level. So if you're wearing like a pair of jeans and a classic black jacket with zebra flats, that is chef's kiss for this fall winter. It seems kind of classic, you're comfortable, but that touch of animal print is really, really what brings it on. I think like the deer print is maybe a little bit trickling out just because it was so heavily present, and how the trends kind of move is very interesting. So first they appear on the runway, and then when people really love them, they trickle down to the high street, where likes of, I don't know, like Zara, H&M, Massimo Dutti, COS, and all the like great high street brands do their own interpretation of the runway trend. So you will see a lot of like animal prints everywhere. But then if it trickles down a little bit too fast and it goes on high street, it hits the high street a little bit too soon in a huge volume, people get sick of the trend a little bit faster, and that particular trend tends to leave us sooner as well. That's interesting because it usually happens with the trends that are very, very, very likable and popular. So I think the deer print really was so popular and so heavy everywhere. It will still be present, but I think it's like one of the prints that actually will be the first one to leave, because it was just like so full on, if that makes sense. I love any kind of like deer, leopard, zebra. Zebra is my favorite print, and I think it's the easiest one to style because it's literally black and white, but it adds a lot of personality. However, with zebra print, I think also it can be done quite badly depending on how the stripes go, because they need to be done really well. I loved Celine jackets, like animal print. Fendi had animal print on the runway. Again, Kate, Chanel. There's just like always some animal print ready. And you know what? I expected Saint Laurent to have a lot of animal print, but it seems like Baby Cat left the chat for now. So no, Saint Laurent really heavily focused on lace and PVC and faux fur this season. We'll come to that later. Now, I don't know if you're already sick of this next trend, but if yes, I'm afraid it will be here to stay. And I'm talking about the balloon pants. It actually is quite interesting because last autumn it was balloon skirts and dresses and just like balloon hem in general, but it started with balloon dresses, and then it was like balloon jeans, like curved jeans, and now it's like these balloon Aladdin pants, which I actually am very surprised how well and how flattering they can be. We have so much of this on high street already. Like, I think if you check the high street options, you will see that there will be so much more than you can imagine, but also we still have it quite present also on runways. I feel like Elias really kind of showed us that this is where it's at. I also think like Kate's done a lot of like balloon style skirts. Then we had to Tam with the dresses. There's just been like so much of it all around the row as well. And now it's really just about the hem. I think like if you want to be the first mover when it comes to trends, if you want to be the trendsetter, if you want to be the it girl, maybe this trend is not for you. But if you want to be on trend, like right now, it's arrived, it's full on, it's in the bloom. I think like this is really the trend that you can be safe with. You can really get the most out of it. And maybe now is not the best time to be like spending a lot of money on the balloon hem. There are like other trends that I would definitely say save your money to spend on those. Whereas the balloon pants, you can really get great ones on high street. Like I think like even this summer, there were so many sets that I really loved, like jumpsuits, trousers, sets, cords. And that's what kind of makes me think that this is one of those that you can really hit high street and get amazing jackpot. Now, plaid is something that I kind of like get in and out from, because I really like my plaid to be very particular. The colors have to be particular, the print and the material, but plaid will be very present everywhere, high street and non-high street. I like how Prada does plaid. It's always quite like expensive looking, very chic. It's a little bit scholar and a little bit of sort of like that almost teenage vibe, but I think like that the plaid shirt will still be around, and coats as well. The coats are gonna get busier, you guys. Like this season, the coats will get print, tweed, they will get a lot of that like storytelling, embellishments. Like, I mean, even like this Let's Crystallize Everything thing is going to trickle as well into a little bit of fashion. And it's like one affects the other whole universe. So you will see plaid a lot, and if you like that trend but not that much, like you don't want to wear like a full-on plaid coat, I think what's nice is kind of playing with like our first trend, which was styling and layering and kind of using like it in that way, incorporating plaid. So you can have like a plaid shirt around your waist, or you can have it under a blazer but over a white t-shirt, just poking like a lapel, or like a collar of a plaid shirt poking. I think those are really great ways to incorporate plaid where you don't have to wear it head to toe. Because honestly, the last time I wore head to toe plaid, I most definitely was 6 years old. Okay, hold tight to your chairs and don't clench your teeth when you hear the next trend. The next trend is gonna be the drop waist. Eek. I know that some of you are gonna be very vocal in the comments. I know you that well, okay? But think about it this way. It's not just about dropped waist. It's about like general, like weird and different proportions. Now here, Saint Laurent really hit it, because they did these coats that were just tied very low. So the belt was going very low. So it was not really low waist, but it was low waist. And low waist dresses were kind of like coming in. We could see them at Kate so much. It was like all over. Stella McCartney, Givenchy, Prada, Celine, Chanel. All about different proportions. Now, remember those last few dresses from the Kate runway show? I still think about them on a regular basis, a little bit too regular if you ask me, but the waist is quite low and they're very flattering. This is something people are excited for, and I must admit also it comes down to low-rise jeans as well, eventually, doesn't it? It always kind of eventually comes to low-rise jeans as well, whether we want it or not, but not how we used to do it in 2000s. Thank God, honestly, because I'm not ready for that. Skinny and low-waisted, that does not suit anybody, honestly. However, maybe Britney Spears, okay, but that's like a whole other story and occasion. So I think that with low-rise, you can really do so much when it comes to dresses and coats and just like showing a lot more character while staying true to yourself. So like belt placement is everything, and I think like low rise on a mini looks way better than low rise on a maxi, unless like the way you belt it in. I mean, if you're gonna make a low rise yourself, do it on a mini. Whereas if you're gonna buy a dress, then get like a maxi which has a low rise. And you know what? They're only unflattering if the top part is very, very, very tight and then very bulky at the bottom, because like it requires you to be like really, really slim. But if you kind of want to be comfortable and not worry about your posture or your belly, get like a looser top and then even bigger bottom like the Kate styles, and I think that will be really great. I think this trend is just gonna be very, very big, and it will probably be the one that the first adapters and the it girls jump on first. Is it too early to talk about the colors? I'm so happy the colors are back. I'm excited for colors. I bought color. I bought a lot of rich green, and actually the green is going to be one of those colors. Blue, electric blue, and like a jewel. Like, think about jewels, okay? If you think about like emerald, if you think about sapphire, if you think about ruby, those three big precious jewels are the colors of the season. So we have the emerald, we have the sapphire, we have the ruby, and like, yes, ruby can be quite burgundy-ish. Think about the red. We are gonna want reds, we're gonna want greens, and we're gonna want sapphire. I mean, like, you know, even like emerald green, it can be like very rich forest green, but it can be also quite a light green. It really, really depends on so many things. Are you getting like an emerald from Colombia or from Tanzania? Like, the differences are quite big. So yeah, if you are getting an emerald, get one from Colombia though. I think the colors are so much more present, and I'm so excited for that. There's also a little bit of that rusty, like, I don't want to call it an orange, but I also don't want to call it brown. Like, a rusty color was really present in Saint Laurent collection, though I have to say, I love Saint Laurent, I love the lace, I love the suits, but the last collection was not my favorite, so I don't want to use it too much as a reference. Whereas Chanel is something that I really want to use as reference, and there you could see a lot of like red, a lot of greens. You could see it even in Métier d'Art collection, and I think that's like a good guideline. The blue, oh, the blue was just rich, and you could see it from a mile away. Miu Miu colors, that's where you could really see it. Now, Miu Miu always plays with colors a lot. Like, you could expect anything from Miu Miu when it comes to spring or winter. Like, there was no, you know, like, it's okay, it was Miu Miu, everything was allowed. But now you could really see like the deep, rich burgundy-ish and kind of tones that we are so ready for. I'm so ready for red, I'm so ready for green. I think like those two colors, as a deep autumn myself, I think those are my colors. So I even got a green watch. Who am I? Well, you tell me. Asymmetric skirts, tops, dresses. Asymmetric tops, I think, really win, and we saw them at Loewe, we saw them at Celine, we saw Gabriela Hearst, we saw Magda Buttram, my favorite. So much asymmetric, and it's so much trickled down that I already got like a really cute asymmetric top at Zara. It's somewhere hanging in here, and I have quite a few different options that I've already worn in the past, like asymmetric tops that you can wear over trousers or over shorts to make them look almost like an asymmetric dress. You can play so much with these. Now, obviously, these will be harder to bring into winter, because when something's asymmetric, it's a little bit tougher, unless it's a really beautiful Duro cashmere coat, or more like a cape kind of thing that goes over everything and it's asymmetric, or an asymmetric thick scarf that you just like layer on top of everything. We are loving asymmetric, because asymmetric stands for everything that we didn't like before, or like COVID and post-COVID era, because we were so obsessed with minimal and classic and chic and clean cut and all of that stuff that we're now decided to throw out of the window because it got so boring. So bring the asymmetry, whether you bring it with a scarf over trousers yet again, or in a styling, or you wear a waistcoat over an asymmetric top, to bring something different, something unusual. It kind of ties in closely with our first trend, which is like layering and putting things over each other. And you can achieve the asymmetric look by layering as well. Certainly you don't actually need to buy an asymmetric top, but there is a plethora of asymmetric pieces out there on high street and high end. You can go for it. even the shoes are becoming a little bit more asymmetric. And what does that even mean? It means that like on one side of the shoe they're one color, on the other they're different color, or that they're open on the inner side of the shoe and closed on the other side of the shoe. I mean, like Chanel sent, but that's like a whole other story. We're talking about Cruise. They sent a shoe without anything on the toe cap. It's just on the back. I think asymmetric thing is gonna go very far. So yeah, I don't know if we're ready for it, but I'm kind of loving it, I have to say. I worn quite a few asymmetric bits and bobs and dresses and tops and things, and I'm not mad at it. There are two trends that I feel like were present on runway, but were also like very, very wearable trends that we could already see from before. And I'm gonna first mention the capri or Bermuda pant. I think like the longer short version or the capri pant version is what we want right now. Like nobody's really wearing hot pants anymore because we had enough of that as well, right? We've already spoken about like the short skirt index, or like how the shortness of the hem actually affects economical situation. And now we're like into capris and Bermudas. And I'll tell you one of my favorite autumn looks that I'm very much excited to wear. Capri pants, kitten heels, and a trench coat. That for me is an ideal look because you're still showing a little bit of skin, but it's pretty much ideal because you are autumnal, but you're quite trendy and fashionable, but not too trendy, you know? I remember the last time capri pants were like so popular. I was in elementary school and I definitely made the most out of it. And that was the last time I made the most out of it. So I'm definitely planning to pick it up this autumn. And let me tell you something, I have a great pair from Zara. I have also like high-end pieces from Magda Buttram. I think this is something that you can really make the most out of, and you can style in so many different ways. Now, Magda Buttram's done almost a whole runway collection filled with capri pants, like more see-through and thicker and all kinds that you can really wear a lot in and out as a layering kind of base for a dress or a mini dress, or as pants itself. So go for it, and I really love it. Bermudas as well. I think Kate's got a lot in this collection, sort of like cord sets, and that's another thing, like cord sets. So you cannot just get capri pants now, but you can get capri pants with a matching jacket, and they can be even in leather with a leather jacket. They can be in denim with a denim jacket. They can be like just like simple sort of like Bermuda suit with a jacket. Chanel's done it as well in the pre-fall collection. There's a lot of capris and Bermudas, and I really love both. I think they're very different. One is more of like kind of, I want to say, like an it girl, like kind of like a Hailey Bieber fan, and the other one is more of like a businesswoman that is very modern, but she's also a mom and she is killing it in fashion. So, you know, it just depends the direction you want to go, but I will link a lot of capris and Bermudas for you guys because I think this is where it's at. I also wanted to say one thing, that for all of my followers who find something that they want to buy on Mytheresa and you've never shopped on Mytheresa before, by the way, this is just me trying to save you some money. It's not an ad. You can actually save 10% on any purchase, whether you want to buy a designer bag or a leather jacket or a new pair of shoes or boots for autumn. We know that like autumn winter pieces tend to be a little bit more expensive, so now is the time to save. So if you are a first-time buyer, now is the moment to save 10% off on a purchase. And if we're buying like a, I don't know, like a 2,000 euro bag, that's 200 euros off. I'll put the link in the description box below for Mytheresa, and I'll put a code as well that you need to use to get a 10% off. So it's okay. You're welcome. I think this is very useful for all of my people who are shopping first time on Mytheresa. I know I said there are two kind of very wearable trends for autumn, and the second one is a sporty jacket and funnel neck coats and jackets, but I want to say specifically funnel neck sporty jackets. Now you all know I got my Saint Laurent sporty jacket already in spring. I also got the blue one and white one. It's like 2-in-1 kind of jacket that I worn already in Tokyo. I have quite a few sporty jackets, but prepare to have them everywhere, okay, everywhere. And why these jackets are so good, you might wonder. They are amazing, amazing, amazing for traveling, for everyday, for school, for work, for running errands, for doing whatever you're doing. This is the kind of jacket you like throw on and it completes any type of outfit. I traveled in my Saint Laurent beige jacket so much, and it just was like a perfect jacket to have wherever I arrived, because depending on the weather, it was just so useful. It was a great piece to have. It was a great piece to own, and I wore it so much. So definitely a big recommendations. Now Miu Miu has amazing sporty jackets. They range from like that kind of like, I call it like an Eastern European scrunchy material, like, you know, like a very smooth windbreaker, to a fleece jacket, or more like a utility style jacket. So you can really pick and choose, and trust me, you can find these almost identical jackets on high street. But I really like, when investing in jackets, I usually love to go for high-end jacket, because jackets are important and the way they look is really important. You know, like if you're wearing jeans and a jacket, I always say like get jeans from high street, but make sure that the jacket is well made from more of a high-end kind of manufacturer. And then again, funnel neck. Like funnel neck is great because like if you have that style of jacket, don't wear it open like how we used to wear it in the 90s and 2000s. Wear it like fully closed, almost like to cover your face a little bit, because that's kind of like the fashion girl way to style it. So this is another thing when it comes to trends. You can pick a piece that is very popular, okay? Like it's very popular, it's beautiful, it's great, but if you style it a little bit like how it shouldn't be worn, that's where it's obvious. Like you need to kind of also go back to trend number one, which is styling, because styling is a big giveaway on everything. Now next trend, I don't know if you guys are gonna like or not, but feminine sets were all over the runway. Chanel is bringing all the feminine sets back in. Dero, Magda, Kate, Saint Laurent, it's all about the feminine sets, whether it's like a lacy sets, midi skirts, not mini. We're talking about midi everything, so midi capris, midi bermudas, and midi skirts, and especially if they're a little bit sexy, you know, like sexy with a sheer panel, like the way that Kate did it, or sexy with like all see-through lace all over, like the way that Saint Laurent did it. We loved like midi skirt with a little jacket. Magda Butrym does it so sexy because she snatches the waist, she makes the hip a little bit wider. It's almost like a peplum style, but not. And I have the most insane set from Magda that I cannot wait to wear. It's a midi skirt and a jacket, and I have it also I think in leather and in canvas, and yeah, I love it. Now this kind of look is maybe not your easiest to wear everyday look, but I perhaps like this feminine set look the most when worn in evenings. I think this trend is the hardest to replicate when it comes to high street, because when it comes to sets or feminine sets, they need to be really well tailored. They need to be tailored to perfection, to the point where you can see the quality in material, in stitches, and in fit. Because if the fit is wrong, you're gonna end up looking, it's gonna age you, you're gonna end up looking a little bit older. But if the tailoring is right, then you will be like so sexy with the highest possible heel. You always want to wear like the midi skirt with the highest possible heel, especially if it's like a narrow and fitted one. So this trend I think is going to be very exciting as well. Not as wearable as the rest, like not as every single day kind of vibe, but I think if you can pull this one off, again, you're gonna look like so hot and so it girl vibes, because this is not the trend that everybody can pull off. I think I've given you all the options, I've given you all the information, all the knowledge, and now all you need to do is ask yourself what suits you the most, what fits in your wardrobe, what you maybe already have in your wardrobe, because remember, trends are revolving doors. They come and they go. Possibly a lot of these you already have, some of them for sure, and if everything else fails, I really count on you to play with that styling this fall and to show us all different things that you can make with the existing pieces in your wardrobe. That's it. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!